Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We doing maintenance. We are live from Nubian Human in the Anacostia Arts Center in historic Anacostia, Southeast Washington, D.C. And this is the Neighborish live cast. I'm Super Dave, a.k.a. Mr. Incredible. And with me, as always, is one of the dopest individuals ever.
Hey.
The SC3 representative.
Hey.
DC's native son.
Hello.
Jason.
Hey. What's going on?
Proud card-carrying member of Beard Gang.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I guess. By default.
By default.
Well, it's just, I've always had a beard out of laziness. So, but when it became popular, you know,
right.
I guess it became cool. All right.
Cool. Well, yeah. We have a awesome show for you today because sitting directly to my right is I always say like one of the most soulful voices, but that doesn't even do her justice. Like, so I've known this young lady for like most of my, like a good portion of my life, and the first time I heard this thing, I knew that she was gonna rule the world one day. Nah, that's a little much. Let's take it back a little bit. Let's take it back. No, but no, just an amazing voice, an amazing performer. Miss Jennifer Osai. I want to make sure I'm saying it correctly. So I put Jennifer Osai on the flyer. That's still the correct thing. I didn't know because we haven't talked in a while. I didn't know if you changed anything out. Cool. So Jennifer Osai is with us. Welcome. And we're going to talk to you about your musical journey and your inspiration and a lot of the things that you've been doing over the past couple of years. We're going to get into all that, but first there's a lot of things going on in the city, in the country, in the world that we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, what's going on, Dave?
We're going to talk about it right now. It's a lot going on, man. I was
You got notes?
Well, you know I always have notes.
Check out the notes, Dave.
Yeah, so I want to start by saying yesterday was Father's Day.
Yeah.
And happy Father's Day to all of the fathers.
Yeah.
And I saw, Jay, you put up a post that last year the South African clothing company, Urban Zulu, named you Father of the Year.
Absolutely. Shout out to Urban Zulu and my homeboy Poppy, the founder. Over there. I think they're in Johannesburg.
Okay. How do you know somebody from Johannesburg? I know you know a lot of people, but how did that come about?
One, I've been to South Africa, but that particular relationship was definitely through Nubian Human.
Okay, dope.
I was, when fashion companies do like lines, I think I was at Urban Zulu's, one of their lines, like a fall line last year or something. But, Poppy, the owner of Urban Zulu is in the store in Nubian Human.
Okay.
So he comes and does Black Love, and he's just a cool dude. We hung out, and he's just real, and we just talked about like having children, so it was a cool thing. And they're like a major brand. Like I put in my post, how Black folks look at Gucci or how they look at Louis Vuitton, like that is the equivalent of the level of quality, like from Urban Zulu. So it was a high honor, and I'm appreciative.
Right. So they named you Father of the Year. Did you get like some free clothes or something?
I did. I got a shit ton of free stuff.
Nice.
So shout out
I got my parental advisory.
So shout out to Urban Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the brother fresh and just being a Black brand with good quality and high fashion sense, and it's just good vibes to have connections with people on the continent with genuine relationships, in the midst of other things. So even through fashion, you can build culture and relationships and unification and, many other fronts. Fashion is just one of the, the lanes that can help in the overall goal. Yeah,
because fashion in essence is art. And, art is that, that bridge that makes that bridges the gap between people.
It's because especially with Black Love, it is the combination of fashion and music and culture. Because there's like workshops and like healing sessions and panel discussions, like really in an effort to get to the root of, point blank, like our liberation. Mm-hmm. So spiritual liberation, like mental liberation and physical liberation, like that is like the point. And so fashion is definitely intertwined with that. And it's an energy that Urban Zulu and Nubian Human, keeps as a through line.
Cool. That's dope, man. Well, congratulations on that. How'd you celebrate your father?
Hold up, Dave.
What you got?
Wes Felton has an important question here. And I have the answer to this, Wes, so glad you asked.
Yeah.
How do we stop black folks from killing each other?
That's an interesting question.
Well,
We jump right into it. What's
anyone
up,
want to
Wes?
stab at that?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, there's already a effort in place. Like I hear a lot of people who use the who say, well, we can't be mad at the police for killing us because we killing ourselves, which is crazy. It's a lot of flaws about that statement, but the reason I bring that up is because typically the argument is, why do you care so much about the officers killing us when you don't care about black people killing each other? And my answer to that is always, who doesn't care about that? Like, how many how much effort has to be made before you see that there's efforts in the community just because you're not a part of it? And that's a big issue. That's a big part of the discussion, is be a part of it. And I know, Wes, you are a part of it, and I appreciate everything that you do on a regular basis. My answer to that is usually there is a lot going on. Like, if you look, there are, stop the violence rallies, there are guns, and it's stuff that we maybe need to modify and move further, but it's people trying, you know what I'm saying? And so until somebody has a better idea, so and I know between you and Jay, y'all have some good ideas for it, so let's implement some of this stuff. Let's keep it moving. So what you got? But what's your answer, Jay?
I want to hear, what's the, I don't want to mess your name up either.
Jennifer? Osai, yeah.
Is it the whole thing? Just Jennifer, or
name.
no, you have to say Jennifer Osai?
Well, my main stage name, my name is Osai.
Okay.
Osai.
What are your thoughts? Because Dave, you didn't answer the question.
How do black people stop killing each other?
Yes, that's
that's a start as we start, implementing things into the community. That's my answer to try to stop people from killing each other. Yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Jennifer Osai.
I guess I could say if we can start working together, supporting each other. The main thing is getting, I guess, because I don't know if the guns are the situation, but if we can get that off the streets, or educate people more about the weapons on the streets. I'm sorry. I ain't know if we're good.
Yeah, it's good.
Educating people more, black people, us, because black people, we don't support each other.
Yeah.
In anything really, I feel like it doesn't matter what we're doing in our businesses or anything like that. We don't have enough of us supporting each other in the things that we do. There's always jealousy and stuff like that. So I would say probably, getting the guns off the street and just teaching the newer generation how to get along with each other and how to stop bullying and, getting along with our own race, teaching them the history and our history and whatever, our ancestors, I guess.
Good job.
See, I came on here to talk about my music and singing, and y'all asking me social justice.
Wes asked a very valid question. And I'm all for interjecting in whatever people are doing, to highlight some realness.
Yeah. So what you got?
Why not? Oh, so it's my turn.
Yeah.
All right, Wes. This answer's for you, brother, and I want you to respond to this too. I think the question was, how do black people stop killing each other? That was the correct question.
Yeah.
All right, here's my answer, Wes. The way black people stop killing each other is to remove white culture from our communities. So there can be no white culture in our education of our own children. There can be no white culture in our spiritual belief systems. There can be no white culture in our family involvement and community involvement in any type of aspect, period. And so with the removal of white culture, we will turn to our ancient familiar culture. And, we would not view each other as property or something that was expendable, because all those ideas and images and indoctrination would be removed from our psyche and our spirit. So we wouldn't even look at each other in that type of way. So that's my plain answer. I know it goes deep to varying levels of understanding.
That's a great question. I appreciate that.
But
Wes.
there you have it, Wes. That's what I got. Let me know what's up.
So I got a question for you, though.
Yeah.
So you believe that? So trying to make sure I
real quick,
understand.
that's not a knock to white people.
Yeah.
White people are still y'all are cool, because I've been thinking about that too. Like, all of these events that are happening should have had everybody reevaluating everything that we've ever thought.
That's
everybody, black people, white people, poor people, rich, like everybody's mind.
Green people. Don't forget about the green people.
Everybody's mind should be in a whirlwind trying to figure things out. So,
yeah. So, but my question to you is, and understanding what you're saying. So, you believe that without the influence of white America or white people of European influence, without the influence of European culture, there would be no killing.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying.
100%, absolutely.
I don't know, bro. So you saying nobody?
You're asking me though.
Black,
You're not
yeah. No, I'm
you.
asking you. No, I'm asking you. So I'm saying like, so you believe that in civilizations,
and we raise and educate and feed our children from birth, and it's just us. Absolutely.
So you believe that in places like Africa, in areas in Africa where there's
heavy European influence.
Well, where there was before there was.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Because the Europeans weren't always there.
Correct.
There was no murder, is what you're saying?
I mean, maybe very minuscule.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So, and that's a broad question to Wes. I appreciate it, but it's like to stop black people from killing each other. You mean stop the murders in the streets? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm
asking him what he was saying.
You're entitled to believe what you want.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to believe what
Definitely,
I
agree.
So,
that's why we have these discussions.
That's what I'm saying. There will be no murders.
I love how you put the disclaimer. It's me, dog. You don't have to. We still gonna be boys regardless.
I'm not saying you should believe what I say.
No, I know.
No, you ask me what I think.
I know. But I know you.
You're like, well, you're saying.
No. I'm trying to be clear. I'm trying to be clear. Yeah, I want to clarify. That's what clarification is.
Okay.
So, but yeah. So I appreciate definitely Wes, and you got to come back through, and we can get into this.
Yeah, Dave was mad we didn't take a picture. Wes.
Yeah, so but not just for the picture, man. For
the
stuff, and then we got to come back and talk about these social justice issues. And see, now I was going to start with light stuff and then get into the social justice.
Wes, don't blame me.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying. So now I got to go back to.
Go to some light stuff. Lighten it up, man. We got news.
So I do want to ask, because I know, Jay, we talked about how you're into the superhero movies, having kids, but then also because there's some good movies.
Yeah.
So it's been announced that the Black Panther 2 is coming out. And you know where I'm going with this. People are mad because they've announced that Beyonce is gonna play Storm, and
nobody likes that.
No, everybody's pissed off, and I'm one of the few people who's like, and this is coming from the nerd side of me who follows like superhero movies and things like that, and I've seen this a bunch of times before. If you ask anybody, who kind of follows that world, like every time they announce a new Batman, the internet get mad and pissed off and want to kill everybody. Every time they introduce a new anything, so. To not even say, okay, maybe she took some acting classes, maybe she got better,
I have a lot on this, Dave.
You said you have. Oh, okay, good. So yeah, I don't necessarily think it's a huge issue. Like, let her give it a whirl, see what she do. If nothing else, she gonna bring some marketing dollars to the franchise, and her level of fame and stuff.
I'm questioning.
As a vocalist,
I'm questioning.
You actress too?
Huh?
You actress too?
Not really.
Just vocalist?
Not really.
Not really. I mean, I don't mind doing a little acting or anything, but I love to sing.
Yeah, singing.
But I've seen her act, and I'm like, she can need. But I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think like.
I mean, how can I can't visualize her being Storm. I can't.
Well, I mean, it's give her some gray hair, and that's all.
Like I can't visualize that.
Yeah.
Her trying to do some fighting scenes. Can you?
Well, she was fighting the girl in what's the movie? What's the movie where she was married to Idris Elba and the white girl was trying to steal him away, and she went crazy and was fighting him.
That was a little bit funny though.
Yeah, but she was fighting in that. But anyway, I just think give her a chance. I want to know what everybody feels about it. Y'all send me messages and let me know. I know I'm gonna hear about this. But yeah. So how you feel, Jay? What you think?
As a member of the Beehive.
You're a member. You a card carrying Beehive member? Is that what you're telling me?
Let me put the disclaimer out there.
That's amazing. I did not know. Well, yeah, I think I did know that. You told me that.
Yeah. So all right. So first off, I'm not mad at her being Storm. I actually think, she'll do a decent job. The thing is, I think she's oversaturating herself because she had like 2 flops. So you know, she did the Frankie Beverly shit. It was like, you just.
Either way, I like that joint too.
I'm just saying.
Man.
I'm just saying. Real nigga perspective.
Before I let go.
It's like, and I'm in the Beehive, so it's objective. It's objective. Like, I fuck with her. Like, yo, that's Queen B. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I ain't really frogging with that. And then she followed that up with the Lion King joint, and I was like, I want.
And that Lion King. All right, go
You know
ahead. I'm gonna let you finish, and then I'm gonna go.
It's too like you redoing stuff that was already all right. Like the first Lion King still bomb as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you're just making the new one for the new revenue for the new generation. I get
Right.
it, but it's like artistically and culturally, it's like so both with the Frankie Beverly joint, same type of thing. Like that joint is already, you know, etched in gold and then you like, let me take it out the gold and like try to put some razzle dazzle sequence and shit on it. It's like, it's a bit much. But now it's like, if she didn't do them two things, I think she would get more of a warm reception for Storm. Because I actually think she'd do all right. You know what I'm saying? Storm ain't no real talkative character and like, you know what I'm saying? She got deep, but Beyonce deep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like through lines with the similarities, but I think because of those past two little awkward artistic moments, it's making people heighten the senses of like, now she about to do Storm. Now it's like, but I think she'll do fine.
I think she'll. That's just that in between it, but like the action part, I'm worried about.
Okay. So
nah, she
might not
fit
do
the way she could dance and do them perform like, cause you know a dancer and a fighter is like the same. It's like capoeira. Yeah. It's like if you can dance in an extreme high energy fashion, you can fight.
I don't know. I know some dancers that'll get beat, but anyway.
Nah, I'm telling you, even the little the dudes, like the ballet dudes, and like the that you think like they will whip your ass. They strong as shit.
Yeah.
Stop playing. Strong. All the dancing.
So
it's like if you could dance like that, that type of dance, right? You can fight.
Yeah. So I mean about the Frankie Beverly joint. So you know I've worked with a few singers. And I always tell them, like, if you're going to remake a song, it's always good, like, especially when you're first coming out, it's good to do it. Because you're putting your voice, which is something you're trying to present to people in a package that they recognize. And so that's helpful. Yeah. But you have to kill it. And I don't see where it was messed up at all. I liked it.
I think she did it well.
I liked it.
All right, yeah, to the point, I'm not saying it's bad. But it just brought this heightened.
A lot of people didn't like it.
Crossfire that people did like, and you know, unnecessarily. Like you didn't even need. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying like, it sucked. Lion King, like they were both done well. But I'm just saying, like
people said it was like she was reading out of a book or something. I'm like, no, she was acting. But I mean, you know, people feel it.
Lion King?
Yeah. It sounded like she was. It didn't sound like she was acting.
So you ain't gonna get no negative about her from me. But what I'm saying is, I try to be objective.
A lot of people are upset, man. I saw a meme that said Beyonce couldn't act in a movie about Beyonce starring as Beyonce. Like I was like, that's kind of cold. No, she could be herself, right?
Because I even think, what's that movie that she did with when she did Fever? She was a club singer. And the guy was a preacher, but she ended up joining his choir or something like that. It was
the Fighting Temptations with what's his name?
Oh, okay,
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that was good.
She just gotta be in her lane. But
I think she'll be fine.
Yeah, Etta James. Yeah, my mom loved that movie. I've only seen it once, but no ever watched it.
Yeah, man. So it's like people. It's just when you up at that, you just going to get
a lot of hate. Yeah, a lot of criticism.
She walked left this time. Like you know what I'm saying. So whatever she do, that's why I was like, I think she'll be fine as Storm. You know.
I think so too. I mean, we'll see. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna say. I think Osai we'll see. Like, let's see.
They probably gonna put her in a nice little tight bodysuit and. That'll shut the niggas up. Like,
right.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me see what's going on.
All right.
Let me take a look. You know. Yeah. Then every woman will be dressed as her for Halloween. You know.
Yeah, you know how it goes. It's just people talking.
Fighting Temptation. Faith Evans was the club.
Oh, Faith Evans is the club singing Fighting Temptation. They sang Fever. No. Didn't Beyonce sing Fever?
She sang Fever.
And was that Fighting Temptations though, boss lady? That's right. So. Yeah, well, I appreciate you checking this out and giving us your input. Boss Lady, that means you're watching. We got at least one view. Well, two, because Wes is checking us out.
Nah,
Too. Anyway,
I
know we got a bunch of people. Yeah, I got a
well,
few
I ain't
people.
gonna say a bunch, but we had it's matriculating over here.
But
UDC.
matriculating. Yeah, you had to shout yourself out.
I don't even know if that made sense in the sentence, but it just sounded.
It just
cool.
sounded good, so
Yeah,
you shouted out
shout
UDC.
myself
You
out,
might
yeah.
have. Anyway, but so I don't know if you guys saw the footage TMZ put out, and a couple of websites he put out of DL Hughley.
When he passed out on stage?
Yeah, we passed out on stage, and he was confirmed he had the coronavirus.
Damn.
Yeah, so they said that was on top of the exhaustion because he had been touring. And so, yeah, he was doing the show in Nashville, and he collapsed on stage. You can see the footage on a bunch of different sites. TMZ has it. That's where I saw it. But, yeah, man, so he was saying that he was thanking everybody for their prayers and everything, saying that he's recovering now. He's doing a lot better than he was because it got to him a little bit. And he was asymptomatic except for the fact that he was on stage and passed out. And so yeah, I guess that's a new symptom. Speaking of COVID-19, man, this whole coronavirus, DC is talking about moving into phase 2 of reopening.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. The end of this week, I believe. I want to say.
Oh, okay.
And so I could be wrong, but but yeah, among like all these reports that the second wave that they're talking about has begun. States including like Texas, South Carolina, California. There was another one.
You remembered all that, Dave. You
Well,
didn't even look at notes.
because
Damn.
they were saying that they had spikes to the point where it was the highest levels. You know, like even when it started, they didn't have levels this high. But it's because a lot of people are going to these states, like vacationing and things like that. And then the protests, and the protests have brought a lot. Yeah, it's been spreading.
I've seen some people without a mask on in a crowd
out
of
there
protests.
protesting. Did you go out at all?
No.
You didn't go out? Yeah.
No, because with me, you know, I gotta.
Yeah, you got a little person to think about. Yeah, but and I got a good government job, so I ain't trying to they see me on TV and be like, Dave, you no, but I definitely support all the protesters. Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but I definitely give
TV.
support. Jay, you didn't go out?
I did. I went to one.
Okay.
I went to one protest in Philly with Steven Jackson.
Oh, okay.
You know, George Floyd's like brother.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
But you know, the energy wasn't. It wasn't what, like, if you haven't gone, it wasn't like rowdy at all. It was like a peaceful. It was like a beautiful
Gathering,
spirit.
right? Yeah.
And it was just a different energy. It didn't seem like negative or mean. It was just like people like, we're really trying to establish a way of living where we're trying to get to equality.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
hard and it's tough, you know, but we're here in an effort, you know, because we don't know what to do, but we're going to show up and we're going to try to make things better. Like even white people, you know, so it's a
been
whole
the
new
demographic.
paradigm
Yeah,
to
it's
put
been different.
on the table of how to move forward,
Right.
because it wasn't even like a negative energy. It was like a healing gathering,
Right.
you know, seeking equality. And it was like people like, you know, really making an effort, like, damn, well, what do we do? Like, shit is crazy, and we have been mistreating them severely for hundreds of years. And it's like now it's being put on everybody's dinner table. It's like, damn, what do we do?
Right.
And so it's like that's what it felt like everybody was there for. Like, yo, I know shit been fucked up, but it's like now we gotta do, because they was addressing the police office, cause you know it's police officers,
Yeah, right.
blockades and shit. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's like really like y'all black too. It's like, you know, what's up with that blue line? Like, you know, where.
And I know,
Where
like,
you
I
gonna,
told you, I know
you
some,
know?
some, I told you, I know some police officers, and they're, you know, realizing more now that it's time to take a stand and, you know, step away from the blue line and realize it's a job. Like Chappelle said,
Right.
it ain't blue lives. You take that suit off. You wasn't born with it, you know.
Right.
So, and at the end, when you go back to your neighborhood, you still are, you know, a black person. So
We just got to be able to financially provide for people, you know, especially that's why it goes back to that statement when I was talking about Wes in regards to like we have to be in control of our own children from birth in every element.
that makes
so,
that makes
so by the time
see
they
that
get,
right there, that shade that got me. I was like, okay,
yeah,
that makes
so
sense.
it's like, so like when this child is born, this child should be educated by all of his own uncles, aunts, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like that should be school, and then that
you don't have to do it just because he said it. Educate your child how you see fit.
That extends out to the community. That is all us who we're all still related. Like Aunt Barbara up the street and Uncle Phil down 4 blocks. That you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then when that child gets to an age, he won't be forced to be like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to survive in this universe. Oh, and then you got the military in your senior class. Like, oh, if you can't do shit, we can provide you a house, a Dodge Charger, you know what I'm saying? This amount of money. Same thing with the police force.
Yeah.
A lot of police officers take those jobs because there ain't shit else for them to do. And society creates that paradigm to put these options at high school seniors. Like, yo, we didn't really prepare you or educate you to do anything. So you're either going to fucking go to jail, or you're going to go work some minimum wage job, or you can go like job middle class, and you can either be an officer or a soldier for us.
Yeah.
What's your options, homie?
Levels. Yeah.
So that goes back to why.
What's your options? They're saying those are your options.
Right. So that goes back to the point of like Wes was like, once we remove that culture out of our communities, the world would be like heaven.
And that what I was saying was that kind of clear. That made that specific. Why do I keep getting calls from telemarketers? I know it ain't because it say don't answer. but yeah, that kind of because the original statement of removing or separating from European culture, and I definitely understand the idea of it, but would that stop the killing? Right?
Yes, it would.
But saying removing the indoctrination, like the more specifically what they teach and what they. But I think you should. Like you were saying, the children growing up, they should have an understanding of all of that, because how are they going to know how to deal with it?
Right, exactly. And they're not going to learn it when they go to school. Exactly. So it's like by the time you become like a high school senior, you don't have the skills to survive in the society that they created.
Right.
Because they've been educated by the same damn society.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yo, once we remove their culture from our influence and our indoctrination of our children from birth, we will have completely different human beings. And we will approach the world differently.
That might be a good idea, Jay.
I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for a while.
But I know what I wanted to ask you though. Back to like the protests and stuff. I've noticed that it's less of a. It seems to be more transparency when it comes to the people who are causing more trouble, and that wasn't given a chance to really flourish as much as it has in the last ones, and social media and just people getting the word out. Like, we're not gonna let people turn this into something that it wasn't meant to be. And even though it has happened in some cases, like for the most part, like you said, the whole mood of the marches and the protests have been peaceful, but and more focused on the goal. And when we had this conversation in the last couple of weeks in the shows, I've always been like, the marches and things are cool, but to what end? Like, what is the end goal? And it seems to be more focused on result-based actions as opposed to just standing out there and being like, we hate the whites. It's actually like, okay, let's make some legislature. And that brings me to I saw an interesting post on social media that posed a poignant question. Poignant.
Ain't you?
There you go. I was waiting on you. You got it after a second. You was looking at me for a second. But anyway.
I thought I didn't know you were about to stop. I thought you were going to continue.
Yeah,
I was about to try to find my spot.
Okay.
You paused for the spot.
Yeah. I was giving it to you. So, yeah. But just talking about how the distractions. And the post basically said, we said, can the police treat us better? And ABC.
I'm sorry.
And ABC, the station, made a black bachelor. Starbucks said we're going to back it up our baristas. The streaming site start playing all these black movies. Like, here, watch this. Band-Aid even put out a color brown skin. You know how long Band-Aid been white? We just had the word.
But you know what's funny about that? We started selling our black Band-Aids.
More?
Like, I guess because Band-Aid tried to get black real quick. They was like, oh, now we about to buy these black joints.
So like TV shows, they cancel stuff like Cops. And they even, I was telling you, they cancel Paw Patrol. Anything with police on it.
I hated Chase anyways. So.
and the companies started. The CEOs of companies made Juneteenth a paid holiday, which is huge. And all over, like companies and countries and individuals have pledged their support. But at the end of the day, it's like,
can y'all stop?
What about the police? Remember the police? That was the original question.
Stop abusing us, please.
And I thought that was such an interesting post because it's like while all this moving forward is good and we definitely need it, it seems like it's a distraction from the actual and to that point, the police aren't trying to give up anything. Have you heard like that the DC Council?
Like, we can't abuse and murder niggas.
Right.
Quit.
Because
that's the whole point of the job. That's why I got this song. I got this song that's about that. About like the mentality of why police. Like white rural America or southern cops like want to
come to the inner
cities. Yeah. It's a whole mentality. So it's like, exactly. So that's why they're like, yo, if I can't do that, why would I be an officer?
They actually said, like, when the DC City Council unanimously passed the emergency police reform bill, the chief of police said, the council has abandoned the officers. The Fraternal Order of Police, the union said they took a poll and 98% of the police said that if they pass these laws that they're going to all leave the police force. And it's like, instead of just not killing black people, you'd rather leave? It's like, I quit if I can't, exactly what you said. It's like, that's what I joined for. And it's like, if you don't even, and so I definitely understand, like, that some of their arguments are like, it's going to make it unsafe for us and blah, 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 blah. Even though that doesn't logic, there's no logic behind it.
What's going to make us unsafe?
They said that some of the laws that are passed, for instance, making it harder to prove assaulting an officer or resisting arrest, which, when a black person get arrested, they throw that on there immediately.
Hold on. My man Freedom got like a
soliloquy. What you got?
Poignant.
statement.
Hey. Just real quick, it's not about this particular point, but it's about this whole everything we talk.
Okay, what you got, Freedom?
He says separation from Europeans would give us the freedom to redevelop an African existence where we don't need prisons or police, and violence was minimum, although not completely eliminated. We had a way of dealing with criminals. We should discuss some of those methods on this show.
That's what Freedom. I appreciate that statement, and that's more of the not because the answer is not eliminating anybody because murder is
according to you.
Well, that's one of the answers. Well, I didn't say that's like you said. This is my opinion. Okay. I'm not saying that anybody else should feel this way, but I'm not saying that murder is not a problem and it shouldn't be worked to. There shouldn't be work to eradicate murder all the way. But is that the answer to this problem? Is stopping all black people from killing all black people? I don't necessarily, because that's a whole nother issue, and they use that to dilute this issue, though.
Like, what about the people that believe what about the people who honestly believe that you can overcome insurmountable odds?
And
accomplish things that are labeled impossible. What about those people and their energy and their spirit?
I never said that it was impossible, and that's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is that's not. Because focusing it on that takes away from the issue at hand, which is police officers hunting black people. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely understand the issue, but because that speaks to the argument that why are we worried about them killing us if they killing each other? Because it's like they're not criminals. Kill people, right? Like it ain't like.
But why?
It ain't just black people walking around shooting each other because they try to make it seem like all of us just walk around with guns. Hey, what's up, man? Bow, and that's not how it is at all. It's like, and so why not hold the people that are supposed to protect us to a higher standard?
Who's supposed to protect you, Dave?
Societally, police.
No,
now,
they're
I know
not.
what you.
No,
but that's
legally they are obligated to protect white landowners and property.
Okay.
Get it straight. They're not here to protect you, Dave. You a nigga. They're here to protect white
say I'm a nigga,
property.
Howard educated.
But that's,
I did a
that's
Pizza Hut
the
commercial.
Confusion. That's the confusion. That's the confusion.
But yeah, and we
think
need to,
that they're here to protect us.
And we need to.
And their laws state that they protect property and landowners.
We need to get into that on the next, and I'm gonna research it because show me the law that says that.
Yeah, I want to.
Okay, if that's what you need.
Yeah, definitely.
But until then, keep watching these niggas get murdered and slaughtered until you figure it out.
Well, but no, just saying that, like, even so, the way society is set up, basically, the guise is that police are, the job of a police officer is to serve and protect the community. That's the and I mean that's the oath that they take.
But the police departments were birthed from slave patrols, Dave.
Yes, they were, and a lot of things were.
So
birthed
you need written proof that they were birthed from the slave patrol?
I don't. I never. Yeah, I'm not arguing that fact. But a lot of things started one way and evolved into something else.
Like what?
A lot of stuff.
Like?
Give me some time to come up with a few examples. I'll do some research and bring some stuff. We'll get back to this conversation. We'll have a conversation at the fence tomorrow.
I know the hole in the fence.
Right.
What's that shit you was talking, Dave?
Right. Bring some proof. Let me show you some research. But yeah, this is a good conversation. I'm glad that we're having it.
You just brought her into this wild ass conversation.
Well, I mean, and you know what it is, because Patrice is not here to rein us in, right? The feminine energy to,
She's like, I'm just came to talk about my album.
Well,
No, I'm just in there with the flow,
Yeah, we appreciate you.
I'm
Welcome.
going right with the flow.
It's all West's fault. West, you got to come in here and
West,
straighten this out.
you got to make up for this, West.
You
just overtook our show.
Right, without even being here. We appreciate, hey, West, come through our house.
That's West's energy, too. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go. Like,
I'm going to take over their show without being there. We're going to do promos for his show. What time this show come on? They're going
to talk about liberation the whole show.
He putting on this page right now. Come on over to West.
Right.
Shout out to West Felton. Whatever you can get back through, holler at us. But yeah, man. So to keep it moving here.
What time is it?
It's actually 11:42. So we're gonna get to the.
We still got time for we do an interview.
Yeah, a little bit.
We could do quick. Yeah.
She's like, I'm texting, so I'll be.
I'm not.
You got any more light topics, Dave? All the light topics are turning into
heavy, deep.
Well, that's just the times we in. We in the middle of, so it's like
heavy, deep stuff.
Hey,
so
you got to be like Bruce Lee, be like water, man. Wherever the current takes us, we prepared to go wherever.
I do want to talk about just because it's trending, and I want to get your opinion because we talk a lot about the influence of social media and its positive sides, like how we just talked about how it had a hand in keeping a lot of the protests more focused on what they needed to be. But then there's also that heavy negative side of it. And I saw a story this past weekend about Marcus Houston and about how he's 38 years old and he's dating a 19-year-old young lady. And, my opinion on the situation is probably not the most popular one, but she's 19 years old. She's
grown?
Yeah, she's grown up. Like, she has the right to make the decisions. And so, and specifically, like, reading some of the comments and the, people's notions and people's jumping to conclusions and things like people, he was messing with her before. If she's 19 and they engaged, and that means he had to be with her for at least 5 years. He's like, no, I wasn't. I met her last year.
Right.
And then they talk about, she, people get messy and want to add to the conflict. So, IMDb, the Internet Movie.
Where are we trying to go with this?
Stay with me.
I'm trying.
Give me a second here.
All right.
So, on IMDb, there's a listing for movies that Marcus Houston did with Chris Stokes or whatever. And anyway, she's in one of the movies like 3 or 4 years ago listed as an art director. And it's like 3 or 4 years ago, she was 16, 15? Mm-hmm. You can't, he was like, it takes schooling. Like, that was his response to that was like, this stuff just recently changed. You can, I update my IMDb page. You can change it. So basically, people changed it once the story hit to try to make it seem like he was dealing with her longer than, and then people start, saying he's another R. Kelly and all this. And it's like, come on, man, you can't until it's tough because it's like, it's fun. People find that, it's nice to make these accusations. It's fun to have something to talk about, but you ruining somebody's life. So until that's my opinion of it. And she's of age. So, I don't really see any necessarily, I definitely understand the age difference, like almost 20 years. But I mean, people been doing that forever. Yeah. As long as, and it's better than them, saying he's going to marry her when she's 15, like Kels did with Leah, right? But so what's your opinion on it, Jay? What do you?
I don't have one. I don't want to waste my time on this.
You don't think that it's, you don't have no opinion about.
Well, I mean,
there you go. See, I know that.
no. Like, it's basically your point. Like, she's grown.
Right.
So what are we arguing?
Yeah.
Like, what is why are we talking about this?
Because it's a trending point. But I mean, I wanted to talk more about like people's who feel like they have the carte blanche.
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
what that is.
Feel like they have the right to.
They do. People can say whatever they want.
Well, I mean, but
they do have
to
the
do it so feverishly.
carte blanche.
There you go.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah.
They have it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna. That's our word of the day. You guys look it up. I'll put the definition up.
Yeah, I mean,
at the bottom of the
this is
screen.
a bullshit topic. I don't care.
Well, I mean, it's more specifically like, I mean, I don't care about Marcus Houston, but it's more specifically
I
about
care
all
about
the
Marcus
stuff that
Houston,
people say.
but I don't care about this.
It's more
scenario.
about like people feeling like they can tell other people what to do.
They
or have
can. People can say whatever they want to say.
That's true, but it's
So what is the?
it's unnerving. It's
To
that's
you.
one of my pet peeves.
So this now we're getting to the
yeah,
root.
Yeah, let's talk
So
about
we're talking about Dave's pet peeves here. There we go. We went through all of that shit to get to Dave's pet peeves.
my personal dislikes and dislikes.
It's like, okay.
Let's go through the list. No, but yeah. So with that being said,
You can ask her because I don't have anything about
what do you?
that topic.
Do you have an opinion about Marcus Houston dating a young lady who's 20 years younger than him?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't like for him. Like he said, I don't have anything to really say about that.
Okay.
Because I mean, I have my opinions a little, but I really don't want to say anything.
This is a safe place.
It's carte blanche.
Well, if you're going to say something or not say anything, you have to say it into the microphone, please.
I don't know. I just
Jay said it's carte blanche. Sometimes I hate you, Jay. But no.
I don't know. I don't have anything to really like say about that. I mean, you said she's 15?
No, she's 19.
She's 19? I don't know. I think this is a new thing now where like people are doing, like men or even women are doing that. Like there's a woman dating a younger man that's in their 20s, 19 and up. Or there's a
Yeah, Madonna's dating some like 20.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a new thing though. People been robbing the cradle.
Yeah,
they
for
call
a
it
while now, but they're making it more open.
Yeah, why we
now.
didn't talk about Madonna? Like why?
Because
are we
this is
talking
what's
about this?
trending, Jay. You just told me to give you a
It
lighter
is
topic.
trending. Like it's becoming a problem for some people. 'Cause they're like, and people are very judgmental. Because I sometimes will go on Snapchat and there will be like, people stare at us because she's like 20 years old or 25 and she's dating a 60-year-old man.
Yeah.
And like it's, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't really. I mean, at first I had an opinion about it, but I like just keep my opinions to myself.
That's my see. There you go. That's my point. It's like the world is a better place.
Nigga, that is not your point.
Is people need to keep their opinions to themselves. That is.
I don't judge people a lot. So I mean,
it's like,
as long as it's
everybody
she's
should be
not
more like
in a
Osai. That's
legal
my point.
age.
That's what it is. Okay.
As long as if it's not in the legal age, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, well, that's something they got.
I mean, I will never date anybody like, that's younger than
older.
30.
Well, you ain't dating nobody because you're married, so don't even talk.
Exactly, but
I'm messing with
before
you.
all that, I don't know. It was never
Yeah.
anybody, it was never messing with anybody that's under 30 or something like that.
Yeah. That's, Jay, would you date somebody?
Yeah.
What's your age range? Do you have a range?
Yeah. If I were to choose,
Yeah.
I would say within 10 years.
Within
10 years is fine, yeah.
So
No
you're
more
at
than that.
67. So no, I'm
Yeah.
just playing.
57 up.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
You?
But I mean, I think that maturity is more indicator of who you should be with in the connection. As long, like you said, as long as it's of a legal age, like you definitely shouldn't be with nobody. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that people, because everybody feels like they have a right to say, like I said, who or what other people can do, and I mean that's speaks to the same attitude. It's like, oh, black people shouldn't date.
Yeah.
Chinese people, or you might like. I was see.
He's about to do some racist shit. You gotta calm down in these streets, Dave.
Yeah, he
calm
called himself.
down, bro.
All right, let's go to the interview. But anyway.
But you know, that's why I said like if I chose, because like you never know who you're gonna fall in love
Exactly.
with. You never know what I
Exactly.
mean, like you said, the legal age is like definitely, you know, off
Beyond
limits.
it,
But what
yeah.
I'm saying is like if I had to choose, I have like these set of standards and ideals that I have in my mind. But then, you know, life come at you different ways. And it's like, so you really don't know until you put in that position. Like, oh, damn, I got to deal with this whole mental, you know, overload of like, God, you know. So that's why I was like, hey, it shouldn't even be a thing. Like if the person legal, if both people are legal adults, that kind of eliminates any, you know, judgment that should take effect. Because people going to say what they going to say. That's part of life.
Right, yeah.
But it's like if you got two legal adults, like, case closed. Like that's it.
There you go, Jay. The person with no opinion there, the biggest. No, but
Well, it's basically your opinion.
yeah, I know, and I noticed that too.
This is your opinion.
You chastise me and then repeat what I said.
Well, no, I chastise you for even bringing the shit up because like you already knew the answer before you brought it up.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Because it's like, yo, it's two
good
grown
to
people.
discuss it.
Like, yeah, well, that's it. Like,
That's my opinion, but other people have different opinions. I wanted to see if you all did.
That's true.
Now I know. So, Jennifer,
But that's
Osai, how you doing? How are you?
That's trend. Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
woo.
Yes. I'm good. I'm
Thank you so
fine.
much for joining us today on David J. Argue for but
The Neighborish
the
live.
Neighborish live cast.
Really my
I
neighbor.
appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate you coming through and joining us today. Jay, do you have a Android charger?
No.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do.
He
Can you
gonna-
ask her a couple of questions, and I'm gonna run and get my
Why, you,
Android charger.
Okay.
Just
sure.
talk to her. You're just your first time meeting her. Just, you know, get to know her.
Oh, you going to your car?
Huh? Yeah,
you
I'm gonna
don't
get my
have to.
charger.
But I gotta like leave and like lock
you
the
don't
door
have to.
and let you in and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't have to do
Oh,
that.
okay.
So
All
I
right.
still
Well,
would have to get up and leave, and she
Yeah.
would just be sitting here
Yeah.
answering
on our
questions.
show, right?
Or
He
answering
can
fine.
yell,
That's
he
what
can
you
yell
don't
questions
have
from
to.
the
I
door.
was with you, but I was like, I gotta leave too,
Oh.
Dave.
I thought you probably had to walk over there or something.
Yeah, no, it's in the car. Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I'll send you the video. You don't need to, but yeah. So again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
Definitely.
Glad to be out of the house.
Yeah, with all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
How are you handling all the craziness in the world right now with the COVID and the protests and all that?
I'm watching everything. So the COVID, I'm trying to stay as healthy as I can. Yep, I have my mask. I wear it like it's clothing now, so I wear it everywhere. I also like no matter where I am, I always wear my mask. I gotta protect me in this, little bundle of joy.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm like six months pregnant, so I'm
Okay,
almost there.
okay.
So I have to make sure that I stay safe. So it's everybody's, including my mom, my husband, everybody's just staying safe right now.
Right.
And with the protesting, I'm protesting, from the house behind closed doors.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm not trying to.
It's important. Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
be safe though. It's more
yes.
about
Well, my husband actually went out to the one in
good,
Baltimore.
good. Yeah.
And he was like, it was great, so he rode his motorcycle there and he just started doing his thing. So
Cool.
and
cool.
I actually went for the first time early this morning to see the Black Lives Matter on the street
Oh, okay. Nice.
for the first
nice.
time. So
I haven't been down there either.
Yeah, we should go. You want to go?
No, I don't.
You're
No.
not interested in? We gotta talk about Muriel Bowser too. I found out some stuff, but we'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
Oh, for
no,
real?
I want to know if that's true or not. Are they
Right.
really suing her for that?
I don't know, Jay. Did you hear that?
They're
did
suing
hear
her for
that.
that.
Are they?
I don't know. I've just heard it. I don't know if it's like valid, but I've heard.
Again, leave it to me to do the research. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I will check into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you went down and saw it. What'd you think?
I thought it was magical. I thought it was nice. I was like, oh, that's nice. I
Oh,
mean, I don't know
Jennifer.
how long it's gonna stay on the street because
Right,
I was
right,
hearing the
yeah.
news about them suing her. I didn't know.
Yeah.
How, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's-
so they might try
So
to.
my homegirl wanted me to tell you that she's a doula. If you going that
Oh,
route, yeah.
Oh no, I am looking for a doula.
Oh, there we have it.
I am
Yeah.
because I'm looking for a safe because I'm scared of this whole. I'm trying to stay safe.
And see, I want to pregnancy is such an interesting time for women.
Everybody got pregnant this year.
Everybody did.
There's a lot. There's a
A lot
lot
of
of
people?
percentage. Yeah,
Oh.
this year.
Yeah, the
Well, I think
COVID,
people been in the house, yeah.
isolation. Yeah, it's a
Can't
whole
do
bunch.
nothing
Gonna be a
else.
whole bunch of babies.
Y'all in the house looking at each other all day, like, all right, come on,
Just
let's
bored, like, hey, why not?
make it happen. But yeah,
Exactly.
so so you're like bringing. This is always fascinating to me. As you know, I have no children, but it's such a fascinating process. Like, are you like the nervous? Because this is your first child, so
Really nervous.
like the level of nervousness and like because the person's gonna come out of you know that, right?
Yeah.
No,
I even stopped watching all the YouTube videos, delivery, like natural birth.
Man.
Beginning, I was like, and then towards like it's getting closer, I was like, no, I'm not watching anymore.
Yeah, man,
Because I started getting really nervous.
I saw one where the lady, she wanted to have the natural childbirth, and so she set up the camera, and she stood like in the doorway of her bathroom and just stood there and pushed the baby out.
Oh my gosh.
And caught it with her hand, and then just wrapped it. She's crying and screaming.
That's what I know.
And I'm like, what? Why? Just go to a
hospital.
So,
Nah, don't go to a hospital.
Don't go to a hospital.
Oh, and that's another thing too.
Don't
Since
go to
COVID, and they're saying they're letting a lot of black people die, especially
Even before
pregnant
COVID,
women.
don't go to a hospital.
Yeah, especially pregnant women.
Go to Aaron.
Yeah. Because I've heard
Or
that
if you don't like Aaron, you can just do it
No,
yourself.
I want to talk to her.
Aaron's,
Definitely.
Aaron's super duper dope. I vouch for her. Stamp her.
Okay.
Stamp.
Okay. Okay.
No, definitely. We got to connect.
Yeah.
So what?
But
what
no.
exactly is a doula? Real quick, I just want to.
Okay.
Me?
Well, can Aaron like give a definition of a doula if she's
It's gonna
watching?
take her some time to type, but
Yeah. So yeah, we're not gonna
She
wait.
can't
We're not gonna
call
sit and
in?
look at the screen.
she can't call in. No, because
Well, no, we don't have that. Thanks for pointing
No,
out that we
no.
don't have that.
No, on
just messing
Facebook
with you.
Live. You can,
Well,
you
yeah, I
can
know.
invite somebody into the video.
oh, I don't know how to do all that shit.
Yeah, Jay's not that,
She's about to type
tech
it.
savvy.
Give
She's
her
gonna let
some
us know.
time.
But yeah,
so,
I heard
so-
that a pregnant woman, my sister informed me of this. My
Okay.
pregnant woman, she was actually she gave birth or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then she told the doctor something was wrong, and then they were like, "You're fine. It's just whatever. It's gonna clear out." And she said, "No, something is wrong," and they just told her she just left it alone. She just tried to trust the doctor. The next thing you know, she just passed away.
My goodness.
Like they're not, and she was black, so they're not really looking after.
But that's why I was like, even before COVID, like if you can now, the balance of that statement is that there are many medical professionals, nurses, doctors, etc., who are blessed individuals who have kind
Reputable,
hearts.
yeah.
But the same thing with society, it's not those people, it's the system. It's the systemic racism and prejudice in those medical systems that are dangerous for our people. So it's not to knock individual nurses and doctors, but it's just like they are just pawns in the whole system of how our people are treated in these systems.
Exactly.
So I don't want it to be like, oh, just fuck everything. Just
you don't want
It's
people to
no,
be
no,
like,
no.
I'm shot, but Jay said don't go to the hospital.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
No,
So,
go
but it's
get the
just-
bullet out. Just,
Yeah, but they definitely have tools and experience that can help us in certain
course.
scenarios where we need them.
Yeah.
But situations where us giving birth to our own people, we don't necessarily need them.
yeah.
I've
to
seen a
have
lot
that.
more videos where people are
they work
having
the
their
knowledge,
birth at home in
yeah.
a tub, or like they build their own pool at home. I've seen that.
Yeah. So
My husband is a little nervous about that too. He's like, what do you think about that? He's like, nah. What if just something happens?
right, yeah, and that's
So what is-
It's just good to research.
Because
Yeah.
Jay, when you were, because you were there when
both-
when your
yeah,
children were
both of
born,
my children.
and were they born in the hospital?
Well, my son was because he was a preemie and he was coming
Right,
early.
so that's
so
what
we
you're
had.
talking about if something happens. Yeah,
But even when we went to the hospital, and this is it's a bit extreme, everybody in our room was black. And
Did you request that?
I did, and because we had a doula also.
You
'Cause-
actually requested?
yeah,
it? Oh,
I
nice.
did.
Wow.
And at some point it just worked out because they put us to a room, and the nurse in that room just happened to be a sister who was cool too. So it was divine. It was divine
worked
because
out,
the reason we had a doula is because we had planned on giving the end of the term, like so he was coming early. So that's why I said we still the hospital was still very helpful for us.
right.
But
Yeah,
she
exactly,
we didn't want her to be on her back, but so she was on her back, but she didn't want to be. And the doula was there with the black nurse.
Yeah,
So all
yeah,
of that we
yeah.
had been going through,
So she
we
was
just
there too.
shared with the
Okay,
nurse, and the nurse
okay.
knew all of. So they were like
Yeah.
a team.
that's
That's
cool.
good.
And
That's cool.
so like it just
That's
worked
really
out.
cool.
But yeah,
Okay.
but my daughter was born like like on the floor.
Oh no.
Because
At
we
home.
were
All
going,
right,
we
at
were
home.
on our way because there was a birthing center in DC off Benning Road. So it's not a hospital. It's just like they just got rooms with tubs, and your doula comes. So you just have like a place that ain't your house. But it's not a hospital, so it's like a tub there.
So you just that's dope though, because you don't have to clean up all the mess. You could just have the baby and roll out. And
Well, I
let
mean,
them clean up the
pretty much, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I never thought about it that way, but yeah. So, but all that to say, like my daughter was not born in the hospital. She was born like because
So you were trying to get to the birthing center?
No, we were in the birthing center. So she started coming out in the car. So we made it into the room. Then like. She was trying to get into the tub, but before she could get in the tub, like 2 pushes, the baby was out.
Wow.
Yeah,
she was ready to come out.
So she was like on her knees, like
can't
at
wait.
the tub of the bed, and the baby was just like, "No, this is time right now." I was like, "Boom,
you're gonna go right now."
So hearing that, Jennifer, how do you feel? No,
I don't know.
No, but
I've been doing some
okay, so
yoga. And
Aaron
stuff.
has responded. If you want to hear what's going on.
Doula, yeah.
All right, here we go. So she says, "I help the family bring babies earthside. I coach, I calm, and I inform." Doulas don't do medical work. We do support, encouragement, environment, answer questions, and bring advice and best practices. We also know what to look for and can inform mothers with useful information. The birthing center is amazing.
Okay.
Cool, nice. Thank you so much. We gotta have. When can Aaron come through?
Oh yeah, Aaron.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
I
we
want to
get you on here. I didn't even know you were. Did I know you were doing?
Set that up. We got a guest.
You do so much shit. I don't know.
We got a guest for next week, but see if she can come through the week after that.
Aaron's
or
like a
whenever
theater genius and like a teacher. I didn't even know doula was in the repertoire.
Yeah, that's dope. That's
Yeah,
dope.
it is.
Yeah, so and get Jennifer number so y'all can.
Yeah,
you can doula it up with her. Y'all can
we'll
doula.
hook it all
But I do want to I'm just the whole, like I said, the whole process of pregnancy and stuff is fascinating to me. But I do want to talk about your musical journey. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to elbow you. But yeah, I do want to talk about some music.
But can I say one thing
Sure, yeah.
about the pregnancy? My cousin, she's a doctor.
Okay.
She's an OBGYN doctor.
Oh, well, that's
And
convenient.
she,
Right.
but she's in California. But she says,
Oh, you got to go to Cali.
It's not convenient.
Bring her here. What do you?
She says that she sees it too as well, especially during COVID, where we have to, like, we as pregnant women and Black women have to protect ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Wow, and that's good that you got that influence to give you that advice. That's dope.
Yeah,
so
she
shout
said
out to her.
it's sad, but it's actually
Yeah, it's true.
It's actually
That's
going
what I'm
on.
saying.
She
It's not
sees it.
like
She sees
how
it.
like she's probably not a bad doctor, but
No,
she recognizes how the system operates,
yeah.
especially being in it. And so yeah, that's the only thing I be trying to tell. It's not like, oh, fuck the establishment. It's like, nah, you should just really study how their policies and practices work towards our people, and just look at it, and ask
having
people
that
who are in
knowledge,
it.
help you know how to work.
and
it
she's
to
seeing
your
how they're
advantage.
letting the Black people die and saving all the white people. That she's seen all that. She's seen
Yeah.
like,
And it's specifically down color lines. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, that's wow.
you know something.
That's a whole nother show. But I feel I was so your music. Think something for no, but no. You started your musical journey. Like, how long ago was it? Like, I know a lot of this stuff because I've known you forever. But when did you first realize that you had a musical gift? Like, when did you start to recognize your ability as a singer?
I've been singing since, as 3 years old, but when I was leaving junior high school and going to high school, actually, that's when I realized I had a gift. And then when I realized I had a gift, I went into high school, Duke Ellington School of the Arts, to just go ahead and study other things that I wanted to add to my gift, which is classical music, jazz, and I already had a gospel in my background, but it's just learning all those things, and that's how and then after I graduated, I decided to go to Philly, and just I went to school there, and then decided to put myself in the music community, and network and let people like help me, and people, I even asked, people just came and just like, hey, come, I'll sing backup for them, or, basically being in the music community. And I just learned a whole lot in being in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and that comes from like your ability. It's like when people hear somebody that has talent like you do, they're like, oh, I gotta work with this or use it, you know.
And also people try to take advantage too.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of that. Yeah, we've all dealt with the music industry to a
yes.
certain extent. And
But yeah,
like, yeah.
but it was cool. Like the experiences were really great. So yeah.
I'm sure you learned a lot.
Yeah, I did.
What's the most profound or like the best lesson that you've learned so far in like your time doing music about like your career or anything?
What I've learned is a lot. It takes a lot of hard work. As any business, you just don't dream about it. You have to put work into it. You have to, you draw out a plan and then you keep going at it. And there was a point where, like for a whole year or two, I just kept going and like with like less sleep. I really didn't sleep at all when I was in Philly, just to promote my one single. And videos, and then doing recordings. I was basically being my own manager because I really didn't trust anybody to really, because I've had managers and stuff, but I was like, I really didn't trust them to really do the job because I felt like I was doing better. So I just took over and just started doing everything myself. Yeah. So it's a lot of promotion, a lot of hard work. If you have a relationship with God, you pray, a lot of praying, just and continue to just keep striving. That's what I did. That's what I've learned.
Yeah, so I saw something when you were in Philly. I saw like a flyer or something with you on, and it was like Philly artist Osai, and I felt something. I was like, she is from DC. I know, but anyway, but that's in Philly, But Philly added a lot to your journey and your knowledge and everything. And
they adopted me.
Yeah.
So that became my home, my second home. Yeah. So now I represent the DMV. I also represent Philly, so I try to let people know that as well. Like,
Yeah. She's an Eagles fan, Jay.
Yes, I am.
I ain't got no problem with the Eagles.
Yeah, I was just telling you. But anyway.
I got more problems with the hat you got on than the Eagles.
Woo.
Well, we'll talk about that too. Yes, that's a Redskins hat. But let's say it's a Washington team hat. I don't use the word.
Racist ass.
I don't use the word that word anymore.
But you wear the hat. I tell you, the contradictions.
But
what time is it? How much longer we got on this motherfucker?
It's a deep conversation. Because it's thought and process behind the. But anyway, we'll get into it. But come on, man, you're taking time away from the interview. Like your gift has been such a blessing. It's giving you the opportunity to do a lot of things, that you wanted to do. You've done different performances. What's one of the highlights, like something that you really like, hold fondly and dearly, like from that your gift has brought you, like performing or?
Well, one of the highlights. Well, can I say a couple?
Sure.
Okay. So when I did a couple of on the main stage, the big stage of Penn's Landing, when I did some like performances opening up for like big famous people like Brackett and what is the name of that couple, that neo soul couple? I forgot their name. Kindred.
Okay.
Like I was one of the lineups to open up for her.
Nice.
And then moving back home to DC, had me having my releasing my single. That was a highlight. And then and it was doing so well worldwide.
Yeah, what's the name of the single?
Nobody's Perfect.
Nobody's Perfect. I like that song.
Because I like to inspire people and stuff like
Definitely.
that. And then what else? The concert that I did, the gospel spring concert that I did, it did really well. I think they said it was like over 400 people that showed up, and just to support me, and thank you to Malhor, my Mrs. Stroud and the accounting team, I guess, the promotion team who actually like helped get some sponsorships and people and promoted me, and I promoted myself too. But that was one of my highlights. Having my own concert and having somebody to open up for me, and then also I would say, and that's it. Like that was up to that point. That's one of my biggest highlights.
Dope. So you still writing? I know you've written.
I am still writing. Some things have gotten, since then some things have gotten in the way, but I have planned to do like maybe some YouTube videos now, and and I'm glad this whole like, cause it seems like everybody's doing it now since the COVID thing happened. So make at least you could do concerts from where you are, from home.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm gonna start doing that, and then some vlogging as well about me and my life, I guess.
So I know that you recently, or well, not so recently, a while back, you got married.
Yes, I did.
And how has that changed your approach or how you approach your music?
It has not changed actually. I can write more love songs, I guess. And then I can still write some because I wrote a lot of, I don't know if you know, like some songs I wrote a lot of like sorrowful, soulful, like bluesy songs, like but with me, but I've also been in love too, so I've also wrote some like love songs as well. But me being married, that hasn't really changed anything, because I was like, when I get married, even having a shot, I'll sing when I'm pregnant. I don't care. I'm gonna keep singing. That's my gift. So,
Yeah, and the pregnancy, a lot of people talk about how that process, changes them as artists. So you said, that hasn't really affected you at all? Not yet.
Hopefully not after the baby, but during the baby, she moves. When she hears me sing and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, you had the gender reveal.
Yes, I had the gender reveal on the 8th of June, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so you're having the girl. You got a name picked out.
JL Etiosa Kinley.
JL
Etiosa Kinley.
I was gonna mess it up.
I thought you were gonna mess it up. Yeah.
And which for her is her first. JL means strength, and Etiosa Jehovah God.
Oh, nice.
So he's her protector.
That's beautiful.
And then so my mother's African, me being African, stuff like that. She gave her that name, the Etiosa. I mean, I said, I gotta keep the tradition going.
That's dope. Yeah, amazing. So, you talked about your single, "Nobody's Perfect." Where can people find it? I want to hear it. I want to know what it sounds like.
Well, you can find it on CD Baby, Osai Music, OSAI Music, CD Baby. I am trying to put some more music. I do have like songs that I'm trying to put up there, like newer songs, like newer remix songs that I haven't put that up there yet. I remixed it like a year ago, and I haven't gone on there, but I will put it on CD Baby soon. So look out for that. It's my favorite thing, some Christmas music, and then hopefully like some other projects that I could put up there if I can get some projects done this year.
Yeah, everything is kind of sketchy. Yeah. I do have a couple of studios that are open now that I've been talking to. So we gotta get you back in there.
In there.
So I know that your style and you're very deeply rooted in the church and in gospel music. Would you describe that as your style or your your genre?
I'm like more so like an inspirational singer, I love to like. The words I like to sing is like, even as a person, I like to encourage people. So that's my personality. So I like to just put that in words as well. And I like to sing about God, but I also like to try to make people get better and feel, because I feel how I feel when I sing my songs and stuff. I'm always emotional when I sing my songs or anybody's songs. So, and it's great to hear people come to me like, I was crying and I'm like, that's some things, because some of the things that I write about is actually things that I've actually been through, or, inspirations from friendship around me, what they've been through. Yeah. So, that's what, actually kind of inspired. Yeah.
Those shared experiences always bring, bring people into your world, make them feel like they know you, and it's
And I don't mind keep doing it when God gives me the opportunity to let the whole world hear my inspirational stuff, and so they can be inspired. Because I know we're in a situation where everybody is committing suicide and bullied and all that stuff, and for being different, So if I can write more stuff about that, but and God is the one who opened that gift for me, that door for me today to do that, write about stuff like that, and write about Him. That He is, someone who you can turn to when when you're experiencing some things. So.
Definitely. Yeah. We appreciate it. She gave us the inspirational word.
I feel inspired.
You feel inspired?
Yeah.
That's good.
What time is it? So I can go do the shit I need to do.
Yeah. It's 12:14.
We still live though. Okay.
Yeah, we
good job.
Stop rushing. Calm down. But
I got,
I'm
you know,
just messing with
my
you, though.
kids waiting on me, man.
I know, yeah, it's the baby.
She'll know soon. She'll know how that feels.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand though.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you don't have to have kids to understand the baby's waiting on you.
Nah, you just do though.
That's what people always say.
You
That,
just do.
Until you have a child.
Yeah, and
Until
it's,
you have. You know.
yeah. Before I had one, I never knew what people were talking about. But then when I had one, it's like it's a whole. Matter of fact, it was my man. This is all in the line with. You know, I'm not going off topic.
No,
my
you
man,
good,
my man Changa. I was at this show and I had just had my son. And Changa's a real good friend of mine, and we played football together and all of that. He saw me at the show one day. He was like, "Yeah, congrats on your baby, man." He was like, "Man," and I always remember this one day we was at what was that joint? The outdoor concert joint, all the way up past Tinleytown. Is it Merriweather? No, it's They used to do a summer fest every summer.
Oh, Nissan. I'm not Nissan Pavilion. I mean,
You know, somewhere. It's in DC, all the way up there.
Jiffy Lube Live or.
Just shut up.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know. You said in DC though.
I mean,
Yes, in
Oh,
DC.
okay. I didn't know.
It's
Yeah,
like,
no,
wait a
those-
minute.
Or it's like if you took Connecticut Avenue, like all the way up into Maryland, like past Tinleytown, past all of that stuff. It's like this
I have no
performance.
idea. But go ahead, yeah.
But anyway, he told me, he was like, your life has changed so much and you don't even realize this. He was like, this conversation is going to come back to you years later. And it always has. He was like, I didn't understand what he meant when he was like, oh, your life is going to change. It wasn't like drastic or like, oh, it's like a whirlwind of craziness. It was just like, oh, your perspective changes because it's like you have like an extension of yourself that exists on the planet. And there's nothing that can, even if you adopt or
It's nothing close to that, right?
It's like it's like a little like a
Part
boop,
of you. Yeah,
boop,
yeah.
and it's like
you
it's
can't-
like
right.
oh like so so it's a whole different understanding that you really don't understand until you have like
You
a
have
little
the-
piece of you that's
yeah.
out in the earth.
So,
Wow.
so with that being said, as a parent, do you have any advice for? us?
Carter Barron, thank you, Aaron.
Carter Barron. That's the amphitheater. Okay. Yeah. But like I said, with that being said, do you have any advice for Osai as a parent?
Well, I mean, I think she seems pretty official and focused, and I'm glad that you are approaching this with a mate.
Okay, yeah.
Because a lot of people don't
He
have.
loves music too. Yeah, that's
They don't
another
have the opportunity. A lot of people don't have the opportunity to have a shared experience in raising a child. There's so many single moms raising their own children, and so I just think, if y'all work together, that's really the only advice I got, because it ain't no rules. It's kind of like it's a dice roll either way.
So it's nothing you wish people had told you before. I know I'm putting you on the spot though, but
Nah, man, it's the most beautiful experience I've ever experienced is being a parent. There's nothing better than it. Like there's nothing that's greater or feels better than being a parent. And like I said, if I had to give any advice, I think you already have it. Like, just if you have somebody to go through it with, is really the only recommendation I would have for people, because some people aren't in that position.
No.
A lot of people are having their babies themselves. And
Yeah, that's
so
true. That's true.
so my advice, even for those people, I was like, you should find a support system, which you seem to already have.
Yeah.
And I think
Thank
with that and your approach towards life and where you are, I think you'll be fine.
And it's good to have somebody who really supports me with the music. He's
Yeah.
into, his whole family in Barbados is into music.
oh, he's Barbados.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Bayesian.
Bayesian? Really? It's Bayesian.
I didn't know. Why are you looking at me?
I don't know, because I feel like you might know and be like, yeah, Dave, it's
I
Bayesian.
thought it was
'cause
like Barbadian.
right, yeah, that's what I was about to say.
You
But,
can say Barbadian, but you can say Bayesian or
Bayesian.
Barbadian.
Okay.
Cool.
And,
We learn every day is a school day.
I know, right?
You learn something new, but that's cool.
But he
though.
loves music. He sings every day, even though but he just
Even though he can't sing?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. He
I
can
was
carry,
seeing what that alluded
he
to.
can carry-
Like,
he can
she
carry
just
a
dropped that
note.
off.
Yes, even though he, and trying to.
He's not a professional singer, but
Okay.
he can carry a note. I
There
can say
you go.
that.
There you go. He harmonized with you. That's
but
all you need.
he will help me put the equipments together. He will he loves the transition.
Having that support system.
He was going to be here today, but we had some design.
Yeah, so well, it's good. Well, I know he's out there, but yeah, he's a dope dude too.
He thinks we're pretty cool too.
yeah, definitely.
He's a barber, by the way, too, as well.
Yeah. Why you throw that out there? Because I need to. No, I do. But I was gonna holler at him. That's why I thought he was coming today. I was like, can you tighten me up? But yeah, what he was saying about having a partner to share, the childbirth and everything.
He's really a good partner with that, yeah.
That support system, and we kind of talked about. That's why I always Patrice is here because we kind of talked about that last week in life, but also in when you're doing something as all encompassing as chasing your dream and following something that you believe you're put on this earth to do. It's so much easier and so much more. I don't want to say more fulfilling, but life is always, better with a partner, I think, in my opinion. Like,
especially they can help you and stuff. Because the last relationship I was in, when I was in Jersey, he wasn't supportive at all. So that's why it took me a long time to be where.
Minutes. What was wrong with that? No,
that's what took me a long time to be where I am as far as music, because I was concerned about his feelings in a way. So.
Forget that guy.
So
if you're watching now, forget you.
Yeah. So we could have a family, be married, and I could still do my music. He would support that. That's have no doubt, about that. So it's good to have that support system around you.
Super supportive. He was right there when we was in Philly with the recording. Yeah, that's dope. Shout out to definitely, like, that support system is huge though. Like just because sometimes you get to that point where it's like you almost want to give up. You're like, I'm just not good enough to do this. But then
pushes you.
Somebody, yeah.
My sister, him, between both of them, they're the ones who keep pushing.
That's great. That's great.
Chris music.
Yeah. You should be pushed because your talent is, I've always told you you're.
You too. Yeah.
Your talent is amazing.
Like when you gonna come in the studio.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I understand life takes precedence at times. But put some time towards your gift and your goals. So I'm so glad that you're doing that. I want you to one more time go over where everybody can find your single so that they can listen to you.
They can find my single at on iTunes. You can find it on Amazon. Nobody's Perfect. You can also I also have something called a single called I Made It. The latest one is called I Made It. It's really actually a good piece. Everybody likes that. It relates more to me and more of what's going on in this world about being different. So you can find that on I guess you can find it on iTunes as well, because I went through CD Baby and they put it on different. So whatever you can find, if you just type in I Made It, you can probably find it there.
Yeah.
And Nobody's Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. And I always ask people, if you had an opportunity to talk to a younger version of yourself, like maybe 12-year-old Osai, if you could go back in the time machine and have a conversation, like being through everything you've been through, all the wisdom you've gained and all the understanding that you have now, what would you say to your 12-year-old self?
Don't stand for the BS. Just keep working and keep working hard. Don't let life get you down, because it did. There were times that a stage where I went through depression and anxieties and stuff like that. And I know a lot of musicians go through that at certain times where they're like, but don't let that defeat you. Just keep going. Even when you feel like you're about to give up, just be like, nah, I'm just going to keep going. And you see what happens. That's why I wish I could tell my younger self.
Cool. Well, it's good that now you know all that stuff.
Yes.
Now you can keep moving and keep going. So, to people who are looking to do what you do, like people who are looking
I'm sorry. And then to say, I'm sorry to interrupt. Okay. And then also not worry about what people say as well, because that's the biggest thing too. People always worry about, and then that's what always takes the focus away. So don't worry about. People, that's my problem a little bit.
Throwing their opinions at you when they got no,
Yes.
They doing the same thing to Marcus Houston. It's sad. No, I'm just playing. But no, that's people always want to put their own fears and doubts and insecurities on you, and a lot of times you take it, especially when it's somebody who
I was taking dudes. That's what I was doing.
you know, is close to you, or but you gotta, you might be just awesome enough to do what they weren't able to do.
That's exactly.
And I mean, you take it from a place, because I mean, they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't care about you to a certain extent, but they don't understand how damaging it can be. So you gotta know to take it with a grain of salt and understand. Okay, I appreciate that, but I'm gonna keep doing my thing. So yeah, definitely. So that's what I was gonna ask you. What advice would you give someone who's trying to become a singer?
That would be the advice.
But that sounds like,
because isn't that the biggest thing when you're an artist or in doing business, when somebody gives their own opinion, they put you down. We always worry about what they say, so that can slow us down.
Definitely,
right?
Definitely. Yeah, I know.
Isn't that what you should?
Jay's not that type of person. He don't care what nobody thinks.
You don't care.
Well,
but I don't know. You've had, right?
Well, I learned early, man.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, that's never. Well, I can say this. That's never been an issue with me artistically. Like, because I've always been grounded in
your talent and stuff.
Yeah, like it's been bigger than me. It's not like, oh, I have a talent. It's like, oh, I feel blessed and humbled to be blessed with a gift. So it doesn't feel like it's something that I'm doing. I feel like it's a divine connection that I'm just a part of. So with that, artistically, people, what people say, or like, it hasn't really mattered, because I feel like I'm grounded in something that's higher than myself. That's so it's not my personal, like, oh, you saying this or saying. So it's like, you can say what you want, but it doesn't feel like a personal attack on me, because it's just like, oh. And I learned that as a kid, just growing up around here in Southeast. Matter of fact, that particular lesson, my man Marche, he would just always, like, I would want to, like, walk with the crowd, like going to school, but he always like, nah, man, I'm gonna go this way. And I just always admired that. I was like, he didn't give a fuck where everybody was going. Like, he always like, nah, I'm gonna go this way, I'll meet you there. And it's like, as a kid, that meant a lot to me, because I just felt like, oh, I'm gonna be like this with the big kids at, this with the cool niggas at. Like, I'm gonna walk this way where everybody gone. And he was just like, nah. And I studied that ever since that time. And I always, and I credit him for that too. You know what I'm saying? For just walking. And was cool, and he was so cool with it. Like, there was no desire to care what anything.
If he wasn't this cool, if he was like tripping and falling and stuff.
But I was like, I always respected that, and have taken that as a lesson in life. So
that's cool. Yeah. So having that strength to walk your own path is
that's the whole.
But it was learned. It was learned. I was to your point. Before I saw that, I was the one that was like, oh, I'm gonna go with them. Like, this is where the cool people. Ain't nobody gonna bother me if I'm over here. And you know what I'm saying? But so I had to see an example of someone walking their own path to be like, oh yeah, I like that. I like not caring about what. So it still was learned.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people learn it longer. It takes some people, longer to learn it. Yeah, I'm gonna learn it tomorrow. But Jennifer Osai, I keep saying Jennifer Osai, I want to thank you so much for coming through and joining us and joining our insane discussion.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Get me out the house too.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
Because we've been trapped in our house for so long, right?
Yeah. But so you found stuff to keep your time occupied. So it's
music and stuff. Yeah,
definitely. So. All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you being a guest today.
Thank you.
On behalf of myself, Jason, and our absent co-host, Fruitfit. Shout out to her. Thank you guys for watching this. This has been another. I'm wrapping it up for you, Jay, so you can get to
thank you.
Do your stuff.
Got shit to do, bro.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Shout out to Osai.
Yeah. Y'all go check out their music,
so
like she said, on iTunes and CD Baby.
She put it on CD Baby. It's on everything. So it should be on iTunes, Spotify,
SoundCloud,
Pandora, whatever. Yeah, all that.
Stuff
SoundCloud. You can try some stuff on SoundCloud too.
And, SoundCloud. What's the one? Yeah, you said Spotify. But you just pull up
website will be on soon. I have a friend who is trying to finish that too as well. She said in 2 weeks or so. She's redoing it actually. So
cool. Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that, and we'll post the link when you get it up and running. Thank you guys for checking us out. This has been another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. Peace.